Eagles. Pardon me. To clear my throat. Had some garbage stuck in it. Let me not be too dramatic. I think I will probably be one of the only people who will say that I look at this game as a step forward. The offense didn't look great, okay? We're not going to pretend it looked fantastic, but it looked better than before. We could have easily had 26 points. We ended up with 19. Actually, we could have had way more, but that's besides the point. We'll get to that later. But we lost the game 22-19 in overtime. Let's look at some of the stats. Because what a lot of people like to do is paint a picture via stats. Okay? They don't give you context. They say they ran for this much, they threw for this much, they caught for this much, had this many turnovers. There's very little context and a lot of breakdowns because it's way more sensational to say Jalen Hurts had 4 turnovers or whatever he had. Let me look at it. 4 interceptions. Yeah. It's way more sensational to make that a headline. Jalen Hurts 4 interceptions. Than to say Jalen Hurts had an okay game. And he really did. Let me get rid of this. He really had an okay game. He was 21 for 40, about 50%. Don't really love it when he's 50%. I like it better when he's closer to 60, 70. I mentioned that in previous videos where he chooses his targets wisely. He holds on to the ball. He doesn't turn it over. Before, I believe it was last week, he had 1 interception for the whole year. And now he's had 4 this game. It may have been the previous game, but regardless, it was 11 or 12 games where he only had 1 interception total for the whole year, and now he's turned it over a lot more. Saquon had 20 rushes for 122. Listen, when I say 17 to 25 rushing attempts for him, you get a couple of 1-yarders, you get a couple of 10-yarders, you get a couple of 60-yarders. You got to keep feeding them. Tank had 1. Jalen Hurts had 4 for 8. Again, stats. Stats are just what they are. How they record the action on the field. They don't record all the other things that happened before a penalty, right? A penalty wipes everything clean. We'll get to that. Tank had 1 for 4. A.J. Brown had 6 for 100. Dallas Goedert 8 for 78. Devontae 4 for 37. Darius Cooper 1 for 19. Will Shipley 1 for 3. Jahan Dotson 1 for 3. And I guess he threw it once or twice to. He threw it twice to Saquon. 0. Okay. Let's look at the Chargers real quick. Justin Herbert, 12 for 26. Now, he's less than half. But the man has a broken, fractured, whatever, non-throwing hand. I don't think we give him enough credit for this, okay? Yes, it's your non-throwing hand. But you know when you have like a hangnail or just it itches or anything is wrong with your skin or your hand, even the cold hurts it, right? He's out there playing a physical sport, getting banged up, getting his hand punched when they try to punch out the ball. They're not trying to intentionally hurt his arm or hurt his hand, but trying to punch the ball out when he's holding it. And, it is what it is. He had 12 for 26, 139. He had 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He got sacked a bunch. We got to him. As much rushing as he did, which he was their top rusher at 10 for 66. As much rushing as we did, we got to him some. the one thing that I thought was interesting is he had 8 different targets, and ones, twos, and threes. No more than 3 per person. How they really managed to come away with the win is winning the turnover battle and us not capitalizing on our opportunities. Okay? Let's start talking about what I'm going to title this a comedy of errors. So I said in previous videos that we have a problem with offense. We don't really have a problem on defense. We have a problem on discipline. Okay? This is on offense and defense. So I guess I could say there's a problem on defense. Discipline. You have guys that Malata and Ajuma. I'm probably butchering the name. I don't see his name on here. I'm not sure why I don't see his name. Wait a minute. Is he on special teams? I think he's on special teams. I don't see his name. Oh, yeah. Ojomo. Moro Ojomo. I just messed it up. I couldn't think of it. But Moro Ojomo. You have guys like this that are causing penalties that wipe out positive plays for us. You wipe out an interception by Coop. You wipe out a long run by Jalen. You wipe out a long run by Saquon. You wipe out turnovers and all the stuff that's going well for your team when they really need every single thing that they can get. You wipe it out with being sloppy. But the Chargers still wanted to give you the game. They really did. The Chargers still wanted to hand you the game. At the end there, we got the offsides because really that was what saved us. Okay, the offsides where we were on 4th and 4, and and we got the first down. Oh my goodness, there was so much life breathed into that drive by that we were dinking, we were dunking, we were out routing, we were doing it all perfectly. The only thing we didn't do was more running. Let me say something positive real quick. And this has been kind of a theme. We will have dashes of brilliance. I had been saying for like 10 videos, why don't we line both our running backs up in the backfield and make something creative? And you know what? When they lined Tank and Saquon up in the back, I just knew it was going to be a run to one of them, right? But the defense wasn't going to know who. And they were right. And I didn't know who either because it was a throw. But you saw how the defense was completely lost on that. Even I was, because it was something I hadn't seen. So I was like, okay, who's going to get it? Is it going to be Tank? Is it going to be Saquon? Or whoever was in on that play, whoever the two backs were. I was like, okay, who's going to get it? How are they going to bridge off of this? How are they going to make this creative play, which I had been begging for? And they finally did it. And it had a great effect on the defense because they made that play. We can have flashes of that, but no real sustained effort of that. Jalen was throwing it all over. I said, what's that, 21 for 40? He was throwing it all over. But the more you throw it, the more opportunities you have to get it picked. Now, let's get to that topic. It's funny because a lot of people were talking about Mahomes' interceptions. But these are like pop-ups and somebody grabs them. Pop-ups. Or bounce off the hands and they had it in their hands and it bounce off their knee or whatever, bounce off their head. And the other team gets them. We had similar stuff where the passes are where they need to be. In some of these instances, not all of them. Where the pass is where it needs to be. but execution isn't there. Now that one at the end to Dotson, I thought that was there was so much time on the clock. We had the momentum. We had everything going our way. Dallas Goedert was, if you saw how it was Dallas Goedert, a defender, Dallas Goedert, a defender, then another defender, then Jahan Dotson in the end. And Jalen tried to squeeze it in between them. Instead of just giving it to Goddard again. It's not like we had 3 seconds on the clock and we just had to go for the end zone. We were in field goal range if we needed to tie it, just so that it wouldn't be a recorded loss. But the possibility was there to go to Goddard or run the ball. And I'm so tired of these up the middle runs. Now, I'm not saying you run it to the sides every time. But I'm also not saying you run it up the middle every time. Gosh darn it. It's like I said, you see flashes of excellence, but it's just not sustained. However, I do think that this was a better performance by the Eagles. I really do. In spite of the 4 turnovers, the Chargers are a good team. We both came into this 8-4. One of us had to leave either 8-5 or 8-4-1. Or both of us would have left 8-4-1 if we tied. Chargers are a decent team. And that win hurt the Chiefs. Now, I don't care about that. I want to win. I want the Eagles to win, but that win hurt the Chiefs because the Chargers won. But there were opportunities there. Okay, let's get to some other problems. AJ, he has some spectacular catches and runs, but he has some drops. Okay. The one that Jalen threw it way wide and he had to kind of reach to grab it, that was on Jalen. But there were several where Jalen put it in his hands, like the one that ended up being an interception that he had in his hands. I guess it was right about where the helmet was. And then boop, and then the defenders got it. The one that was in the end zone that was like a pillow throw. Oh, it was gorgeous. It was a gorgeous throw by Hurts. And from the backside angle, it just looked like AJ was trying to one-hand it and trying to be, special. But then when you get the reverse angle, you see the defender is holding his arm back. And I'm like, okay, the line judge probably can't see this, right? The line judge is in the back, kind of with the view that we have. And with his back, and their backs were to him. So he may not have seen that. So I can't really get on that ref. But the other ref on the opposite side should have easily seen how we had AJ hemmed up. And that's why he was going with one hand. So I can't blame that on AJ. At first I was, but I can't blame that on AJ. He's caught those before. But it's not like I'm out here saying he needs to catch those every time. Those are spectacular catches. But AJ has some drops. You hate to lose. You hate to lose any game against a good team or a bad team. But my God, there has to be cleanup. Right now, again, I keep saying this is a progression. We made 19 points. Could have had a lot more. But we need to clean some stuff up. Quinyon. Oh my goodness. I just looked at his name, so it made me think of it. And then, I am wearing this shirt. But it just made me think of it. He got called for pass interference when it was ridiculous. He basically just had his hand on the guy's hip, but not tugging his shirt or anything. Call's a call. Let's look at some time of possession. Okay. Chargers had the ball 40 minutes. We had it 30. But this is including overtime. So the time of possession wasn't that wild skewed number like it was last week, where the Bears had it 40 minutes and we only had it 20 minutes. So we had the ball 10 more minutes. Excuse me, this time. We had 6 penalties for 53 yards. They had 7 penalties for 55 yards. So it's about even on penalties. It's just, I wasn't really paying attention to how their penalties affected the Chargers other than that offsides, because that offsides breathed life into us for the overtime. But for the rest of them, I wasn't really paying attention. But I did pay attention to the penalties on the Eagles, and they were crippling. We had 19 first downs. Again, I'm looking at the positivity and the growth, in my opinion, because we normally don't even have a lot of first downs. So you got that. Third down efficiency, we're 4 for 13. We continue to struggle on third down. They were 7 for 19. But Herbert was scrambling his tail off. Total plays, 66 to their 71. Total sacks allowed, we only allowed 1. They allowed 7. And then, here's another thing I forgot to mention. Hurts was under a lot of pressure, okay? So a lot of his throws and a lot of the things that happened that look wonky, when they replayed it, you can see that a Charger was in Hurts' face. So a throw that may have been a little bit too high or a little bit too fast was a result of that pressure, or missing, who was it? Was it Goddard or was it Smitty? It was either Goddard or Smitty who was free, cutting across the field, then the opposite direction of Hurts, where he could have hit him, but there was pressure in his face. Sometimes uncontested pressure, okay? There were times where they would get by our offensive line, and, Hurts just had to make it do what it do. But there were times where they would just blow by them. Blow by our O-line. And Hurts just had to make something of nothing. You see, I got the daggum sniffles. They make me sick. Our team sometimes makes me sick. I hate to say it, but sometimes they make me sick. We have 40 tackles to their 38. Jake Elliott missed a field goal. There's 3 more points. There's 3 more points for us, and we're tied. That touchdown to AJ. Could have had that. There was another touchdown. I forgot all about this because my brain is so scattered. Penalties. Holding. We had another touchdown in the end zone. Call back. That we had to trade a field goal for because of penalties. So when everybody is gonna jump on Hurts and say he's horrible, he didn't have. Let's be honest. He didn't have an immaculate game by any stretch of the imagination. Okay, I'm not saying he had an MVP caliber game, but what I am saying is he wasn't terrible. He missed some throws. He made some good scrambles that got called back with holding. He threw the ball away. Some of his interceptions were what do I want to call it? Not entirely on him, right? There was one where Smitty actually fell on the route. Now, I think he probably would have still been picked, but Smitty could have got his hands in there, right? This is just what if scenario. The guy jumped Smitty's route, but he fell. Had he been up, that could have been broken up possibly. Then the one off of AJ. Then the one down there by Dotson. And then, like the Three Stooges, that one that got intercepted by Smitty, Shipley came back and punched it out. It bounced up. Jalen Hurts caught it. Instead of falling on the ground, he tries to make something of it. Your QB1 is trying to make something of it. It gets knocked out of his hands. And then somebody else picks it. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. That joke was funny. That joke was funny. So, it was an okay game. I think if they could take this game and build on it versus the Bears game, they could build on this momentum. For real. The Cowboys, they could build on the first half. The second half, they didn't score anything. But they were consistent in this one. Let me look back up real quick. Right, so Eagles, 3, 3, 3, 10, overtime 0. The Chargers, 7, 3, 3, 6, 3. Right, so we were right there. It's pretty dead even. 8 and 4 teams coming into it. It's pretty dead even. You never want to take a loss. Not to a good team or a bad team. But I think everybody's going to be sky is falling and epic collapse and all this other stuff. And the Eagles shouldn't be listening to that. They shouldn't. If you watch this game, you should know that there was major improvement. Major running game improvement with Saquon. Major scheme improvement, be it also brief. I think less penalties. What did I say? 6 or 7? 6. But, I mean, back-breaking penalties. Ugh. Ugh. But rest assured, the sky is not falling, okay? With the win or with the loss, we would have been 3. We still would have been 3rd in the standings. Because we're still on top of our division. You got not the Packers, I'm sorry. The Rams are number 1. Do I have that, what you call it up? I swear I have it, and every time I want to go look at it, it's gone. If the playoffs start today. Oh, it's up today. Okay. It was up today. Okay. So Rams number 1, Packers number 2, Eagles 3, even at 8 and 5. Even if we would have been 9 and 4, we still would have been 3 because the Packers 9, 3, and 1 is better than 9 and 4. A tie is better than a loss. So either way, we would have been 3. But you like to keep stacking wins because you don't want the teams that are in the hunt to catch you. Because the Lions are also 8 and 5. Well, I mean, they're not in our division, so they can't really catch us. But who can catch us? The Cowboys have to win out, and we have to lose a whole lot more. That's really the only way that we drop. It's really the only way that we drop. Oh, no, excuse me. The Bucks and the Panthers are both 7 and 6. So if they win out and we keep losing, they could jump ahead and we could be the 4 seed. So there is a path to drop to the 4. But as long as we win our division, we're either 3 or 4. You'd like to be 2, but it doesn't get you a bye, right? So it is what it is. 2 and 3 just really change who you're going to play in the playoffs. So let's see right here. We're 3. So 2 would play 7. So right now, if it were to start now, Packers would play Bears. And they go ham. 3 and 6, we play the 49ers. Oh, do we really want to play them right now? They're kind of hot at 9 and 4. And the Bucks would play the Seahawks. And I think the Seahawks right now would smash the Bucks. It's going to be an interesting way to end. I'm just thinking, all right, take who's in the playoffs right now and who can we beat? Okay, we beat the Rams, but that was early in the season. Can we do that again? I don't know. We beat the Packers earlier in the season. Actually, we held them to one of their lowest scores of the season. So that, I think, despite all else, I think we could beat them. We beat the Bucks, so I think we could beat them again. But we lost to the Bears. We haven't played the 49ers or the Seahawks. So I don't know who you want to play there. Then we lost to the Broncos in the AFC. You just think about who might be in the Super Bowl if we make it. The Broncos, we lost to them, but we gave them that game. Patriots, haven't seen them. Jaguars, no. I'm thinking Texans, Bills, Patriots, or Broncos, but I really still think Bills, Eagles, Super Bowl. Until it's not true, I say it's true. Bills, Eagles, Super Bowl. Eagles win 38-30 over the Bills. Until one of them is eliminated, that's what it is. We got to do better. It's plain and simple. Build on this. Execute better. Work on the drops. Work on the miscues. Work on the penalties and turnovers. Feed Saquon, feed Tank. Get some more of that running scheme getting drawn up. We can do it. It's not what was me. Not from this Eagles fan. It's not. I don't know what all your other Eagles content creators are going to be like, Broads and everybody else. How they're going to lambast the Eagles. I pointed out their mistakes. I'm being fair. I pointed out their mistakes. But I think that this is a path to build on and win out. Because who you got left? The Raiders, Commanders twice, and Bills. I think you can beat the Raiders, Commanders twice. Bills might be a question. Does superhero Josh show up, or does regular Josh show up? Which one shows up? That'll kind of decide that one. So then what do I be? Let's just say we lose to the Bills. That will be 11-6. the same as the epic collapse year. I don't care. I'm not superstitious like that. I don't care if we finish 11-6. All I care about is that we get there and that we have a path to victory that we can believe in and that we can trust. However it needs to happen. Whatever dings and bumps and bruises that we have to get along the way to get there, we just get there. Okay? Don't give up hope, Eagles fans. All is not lost. Fly, Eagles, fly. Go Birds.